From a sudden rock slide in China that nearly crushed this passing driver, and a landslide in Indonesia that sent a group of miners sprinting for cover, to the shocking moment an entire mountainside collapsed in one fell swoop, and a quarry landslide in Turkey that led to the arrest of several officials. Wenchuan, China is a small county in the Aba prefecture. It's home to about 100,000 people living within 1,500 square miles. That's about 66 people per square mile, which is pretty sparse compared to the rest of China. That's likely because most of Wenchuan's terrain consists of steep mountains and valleys, which are very landslide prone. On June 26th of 2020, locals gathered atop a mountain to watch the one across from them collapse in dramatic fashion. Thankfully, nobody lived nearby, so they could sit back and enjoy the spectacle without worrying about what was below. While the debris cloud got a little too close for comfort, everybody was perfectly safe on the other side of the valley. We're thinking more of this mountain had collapsed before our camera person began recording. You can tell by the large scar where trees used to be. Landslides like this are extremely common in East Asia. The mountainous terrain mixed with the rainy climate means wet soil and loose rocks. All it takes is a little push to send one of these mountains crashing down. October kicks off the annual monsoon season in Indonesia. They'll see tropical downpours for many months, leading to flash floods and frequent landslides. These miners in the Cirebon Regency were working double time to meet their quotas before the rain began falling. They learned a valuable lesson about Mother Nature's unpredictability. It was June 19th of 2023. Monsoon season was still 3 months away, but that didn't stop heavy rain from pelting the mine the night before. The company deemed it safe the next day. All was going fine until a few rocks fell off the cliff face. Gravity simply took over from there. According to local police, nobody was near the cliff face when it collapsed. They also avoided getting stuck in the debris cloud, which could make it difficult to breathe. It's unclear if the mining company knew about the present danger. Heavy rainstorms are common in Indonesia, even outside the monsoon season. Assuming the walls were already weakened due to extensive mining, the whole thing was a recipe for disaster. Maybe next time they'll put worker safety ahead of profits. Now, we're not sure where or when this next landslide took place. All we know is it's a prime example of how devastating these events can be. Dozens of people gathered to watch as debris fell off the mountainside. Then, the entire cliff face decided to collapse. Something about the contrast between the green hillside and the dark dirt interior is so intimidating and incredible to see. It looks like those people up front are standing way too close, but we're guessing they're actually on the other side of a wide valley. We'd love to know if any of them caught this massive landslide on camera. What stands out most about this video is how cleanly nearly half the mountain collapses away. It's almost as if somebody made a perfect cut along the top. There are many small villages dotting northern India's mountain ranges. The Kannaur district of Himachal Pradesh is full of them. Roughly 84,000 people live in the shadows of mountains as tall as 22,000 feet. They're well aware that rock slides can occur at any time. On May 16th of 2019, locals in the village of Bhavanagar gathered to record some small rocks falling off the mountain. They were wise enough to stand back, as one rock is usually followed by many more. They just didn't think the landslide would get this close.
ओ तेरी क्या है
Thankfully, all those rocks avoided the village, and nobody got hurt during the landslide. It looks like most of them rolled down to the river below. A few wound up on the highway, leading to some traffic congestion. But traffic is always better than a rock through your roof, right? The Çöpler mine is a gold mine in Turkey's Erzincan province. It's owned and operated by Anagold Mining Incorporated, which doesn't have a perfect track record. In 2020, the mine was closed after investigators discovered cyanide leaking into a river that runs through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. It reopened 2 years later after Anagold cleaned the area and paid a hefty fine. Then, on February 13th of 2024, disaster struck again. A huge mass of heap leach material collapsed and rolled down the mountainside. With it came about 350 million cubic feet of toxic goop. Workers standing on the other side of the mine recorded the fast-moving landslide. Sadly, the clip ends here. It's unclear how much further the landslide traveled, though it doesn't look like there were any signs of stopping. One truck driver got up close and personal when the landslide started. His dashcam caught the whole thing coming right toward him. It was clearly another day on the job. Nobody had a clue that disaster was on the horizon. Then, the toxic landslide rolls over the hill and fills the road. It races right toward our trucker as he tries to reverse to safety. Thankfully, it stopped in the nick of time. Sadly, 9 people were trapped inside the mine when it collapsed. As of now, Turkey is devoting whatever resources it can to finding and rescuing them. Meanwhile, multiple mine officials have been arrested regarding the incident. It seems like they knew something bad could happen, yet did nothing about it. The Aksu Prefecture is a large state in Xinjiang Province, China. It's home to about 2.7 million people living among the mountainous terrain. To get around, most of them drive down winding roads cut into the mountainside. On July 4th of 2023, a local man was out for a drive when his dashcam captured something spectacular. Let's just say he's lucky he hit the brakes in time. These roads are truly scenic if you ignore the fact that landslides can happen any minute. As our driver rounds a bend, you can see rocks tumbling down the mountain at the top of your screen. He slams on the brakes and watches the rocks fall. A few more feet, and he would have been toast. The same goes for those who were up ahead of him. In a matter of seconds, the entire street is blocked with large rocks and a cloud of debris. Our driver waits a little longer than I would have to start backing up, but thankfully the worst was over by this point. It's a good thing there weren't many people behind him. Imagine the anxiety he must have, not knowing if more rocks are coming down the mountain. Look at how close one of those rocks came to hitting him. It could have easily landed on his car, leaving him stuck in the middle of a landslide or worse. This is definitely one of those situations where if he didn't have his dashcam rolling, nobody would have believed just how close he came. Himachal Pradesh is India's northernmost state. The name translates to the snow-laden mountain province, which makes sense given their location in the western Himalayas. It's very steep and prone to landslides. On March 14th of 2020, a few locals gathered on a mountain road in the Kanawar district. Judging by the signs, officials had deemed the area unsafe due to landslides. Everybody knew what was coming. They just didn't think it would be so big.
आगे आगे ये आगे पहाड़ पर गिर गया ये गिरा ओले 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 ओ पंच ओ पंच
It's a miracle nobody was injured. Just look at the size of those boulders flying down the mountain. Then again, with how rural the area is, it's not such a surprise. According to reports, those massive boulders tumbled down the mountain and blocked a portion of National Highway 5. I just wonder, what do you do if the only road through the mountain gets blocked? How do you get where you're going? Highway 5 runs across the top of India, from the eastern border of Pakistan to the western border of China. It'll snake through the steep areas of the western Himalayas, meaning landslide roadblocks happen all the time. Some landslides are quick and to the point. Others cause extensive amounts of damage over time. This landslide from the Peruvian province of Rockfalls is a perfect example of the latter. On March 23rd of 2018, locals in this small town noticed a steady stream of water flowing under the main road. It began eroding the ground above, triggering one small landslide after another. Before long, a massive chunk of the hillside was missing. It was only a matter of time before the whole thing collapsed.
Puta, por lo menos medio año sin pase. Ahí se ve la otra. Serena se va a correr. Ahorita con todo va a salir toda esa agua cuando lo bota. El puente que se quedaron, ahí está de todo. Ahora sí, todo lo sopla ya. Mira, mira, mira.
This video puts the power of erosion into perspective. Think back to how we started compared to how we finished. Mother Nature didn't take long to swallow over 100 feet of road. In fact, she took about 13 minutes if you account for the camera cuts. Unfortunately, this road was the primary way in and out of town. The locals had to rely on a small path while crews worked on repairs. From what we can gather, they opted for a bridge instead of filling in the hole. Talisay is a large city on Cebu Island in the Philippines. It's home to about 263,000 people who enjoy coastal views of the Cebu Strait. But on June 26th of 2023, everyone was looking at something else. Bikers traveling along Manipice Road noticed rocks and soil tumbling down the adjacent hill. Fun fact about Manipice Road, it's considered the most dangerous road in Cebu, perhaps even the entire country. That's because it's surrounded by steep mountains, where landslides like this one can happen at any moment.
Bang, dagko kaayo. Dagko anak mo. Bang.
Buat kinabugwa o. Ano man na?
Oh, anak. Bang. Bang, dagko anak mo. Lo.
Apa na? Di na ginamagian.
Di ko mo jud eh.
Tuyok na lang dito.
Bang, dagko anak ka oy. Dagko anak oy. Ari ka. Kayawan ko eh.
We're guessing someone had to wait a little longer for their grab order that day. The landslide blocked the road for a week as crews worked to remove over 500 dump trucks full of debris. The landslide occurred after several days of heavy rain in the area, and this only marked the beginning of monsoon season in the Philippines. Events like this would only become more frequent, especially on Manipice Road. The Jammu-Srinagar National Highway is one of two roads connecting the Kashmir Valley to the rest of India. It passes through several mountainous areas on its 153-mile journey. In fact, the highway is frequently closed in the winter due to major avalanches and landslides. One of those landslides actually occurred in the summer of 2023. Jammu and Kashmir police were on the scene to keep people safe as rocks poured onto the highway. Once everyone was safe, they pulled out their phones and began recording the damage.
ये सारा आ गया।
According to reports, the landslide occurred near the T2 tunnel leading to the Jammu-Srinagar highway. The road was completely blocked, leaving drivers with nowhere to go but back the way they came. That's the problem with only having two roads through the mountain. Landslides cause detours, and those detours can set you back several miles. It's unclear how long it took them to clear all that debris. Since landslides like this are pretty frequent, they probably have an airtight system for clearing them as fast as possible. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching and be sure to tune in next time.